There was a genius named Caravaggio. His genius, a leading painter of the 17th century Italian Baroque, he shook up the art world with his dramatic contrast of light and shadow, chiaroscuro, and realistic depictions. His work introduced an innovative realism to religious paintings, and masterpieces like The Calling of St. Matthew are still highly acclaimed today. Why did he fall from grace? He was known for his passionate and violent temper. He often got into fights over trivial matters and was involved in several assault cases. Ultimately, in 1606, he stabbed and killed an opponent during a tennis match, becoming a fugitive with a bounty on his head and living a miserable final few years. His life is a stark example of how artistic genius and a tragic character can coexist. What if a biography about Caravaggio came out? Would you let your kids read it? I wouldn't. What's your take on Einstein? Would you let your kids read an Einstein biography? Oh, you've already had them read one? Me too. But if you watch this video to the end, you might change your mind. Einstein's genius? Einstein as a true genius. By any standard, Einstein's scientific achievements are unparalleled. The year 1905, when he was 26, is known as his annus mirabilis, miracle year. In that single year, while working as an unknown scientist at a Swiss patent office, he published 4 groundbreaking papers in quick succession. Photoelectric effect, a paper that proved light is not just a wave, but is also made up of particles, photons. He was awarded the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics for this work. Brownian motion, he mathematically proved that water molecules move due to the irregular collisions of invisible atoms, providing key evidence for the existence of atoms. Special theory of relativity. He introduced the revolutionary concept that time and space are not absolute but relative. Mass-energy equivalence, EMC square. He revealed the principle that mass and energy are interchangeable. This is one of the most famous equations in human history, opening the door to nuclear energy. In just 1 year, he produced multiple Nobel Prize-level works across different fields, which was unprecedented in the history of science. His theories completely redefined the framework of classical physics, and his achievements had a profound influence on countless subsequent scientists. Einstein's morality? According to Einstein, A Life by Dennis Bryan, readers who only know Einstein from biographies for children as a genius scientist or a pacifist learn that he was a complex man who committed adultery, neglected his family, and downplayed the contributions of others to his work. After their divorce, his ex-wife Marich struggled financially and had to bear the full responsibility for raising and educating their 2 sons, Hans Albert and Eduard. The financial burden of medical care grew particularly heavy when their second son, Eduard, began suffering from a severe mental illness. Einstein had caused Marich great pain by having multiple affairs during their marriage. The fact that he gave her the enormous sum of his Nobel Prize money unconditionally is often interpreted as an act of apology and atonement for the life he had shattered. There was another genius in the world of physics after Einstein, Dr. Benjamin Lee. Let's compare Einstein and Dr. Benjamin Lee. First-hand experience with the horrors of war. Albert Einstein, when war broke out, he secretly fled, abandoning his wife. He left his wife, who was at her parents' house, recovering from childbirth and raising their child, and ran away alone. This set the stage for their eventual divorce. Benjamin Lee, he personally went through the horrors of the Korean War, witnessing its brutality firsthand. He lost his grandmother while fleeing, and in 1953, when the war ended, he lost his father. Despite the difficult post-war economy, his mother alone secured funds for his tuition in Korea and sent it to him in America. Holistic education. Albert Einstein, a failing student except for math. He was a mere math genius with no interest in the humanities or liberal arts. Compared to his wife, Mileva Maric, his mathematical skills were far inferior. Maric, a disabled woman from a frontier region, was a woman with a disability, but still got into the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Based purely on her skills, she failed at first, but kept trying until she was accepted. Benjamin Lee, he was a top honors student, even after transferring from chemical engineering at Seoul National University to physics in America. He got excellent grades in all subjects. A hard-working genius who overcame a language barrier in a short time. He was well-versed in a wide range of humanities and liberal arts, including philosophy. He got into every program, based on his own merit, without any backdoor deals or special favors. Views on marriage. Albert Einstein, he courted Marich for her mathematical prowess. After achieving his goal, he abandoned his wife like a dirty rag. This scoundrel then remarried his first cousin. Even after that, he created numerous scandals, and his inner circle had to work overtime to cover them up. Benjamin Lee, he married an assistant who had devotedly supported him. They had 2 sons. He had a very humane view of marriage, philanthropy for humanity. Albert Einstein. The anti-nuclear movement, public declarations, and tireless efforts to prevent war that we know of were essentially just PR from his management company. He simply did what his handlers told him to do. Benjamin Lee, having directly experienced the horrors of war, he was committed to preventing the misuse and abuse of science and physics. It's speculated that his ethical beliefs were a contributing factor to his mysterious death later in life. Scandals and morality. Albert Einstein, his private life was a mess. He was always surrounded by women and didn't hesitate to cheat on them with 2, 3, 4, or even 5 others. It's been rumored he had affairs with as many as 15 people. He had some sort of mental issue. Benjamin Lee. He had no time for the luxury of scandals, as he was constantly thinking of his mother, who was sending him money for his tuition and living expenses from back home. He was full of filial piety and patriotism. Academic ethics. Albert Einstein. He shamelessly appropriated the work of others. The contempt he received from renowned scholars was not due to his lack of academic merit, but a rebuke of his lax moral character. While there's no denying his genius or his contributions, he's been overly praised and idolized, and his dark side remains largely unknown because his management company managed it so thoroughly. Benjamin Lee, rather than taking credit for other academics' work, he helped them elevate and perfect their own academic achievements. He didn't care about their standing in the academic world and evaluated them strictly on their merits. Because of this, he earned the respect of physicists and the academic community, considered his Nobel Prize to be a foregone conclusion, just a matter of time. Now let's take a moment to reconsider whether I should let my kids read a biography of Einstein. They even use Einstein's name on milk products. The ads make it feel like you'll get as smart as Einstein if you drink it, and his name appears in countless other advertisements. I asked Google, what's Einstein's name value in monetary terms? And it answered,
It's impossible to calculate the exact monetary value of Einstein's name, but its scale can be estimated through its real market value. The earnings from his estate and intellectual property, along with the prices of his belongings at auction, show just how enormous his value is. Intellectual property revenue. After his death, all of Einstein's writings, name and image rights were bequeathed to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. The university assigned these rights to an American company called Greenlight to manage its commercial licensing business. Through this business, Einstein's name and image are used on a wide range of products, including science books, documentaries, educational games, and even clothing and memorabilia, reportedly generating billions of won in annual revenue. Auction value of his belongings. The value of Einstein's name can also be confirmed through the auction of his personal belongings. His handwritten letters, notes, and even scribbles are traded at astronomical prices. A short memo about happiness he gave to a young man in Japan in 1922 instead of a tip was sold for $1.56 million, about 2 billion won, at a 2017 auction. His God letter, written in the 1950s, was sold for $2.9 million, about 3.8 billion won, at a 2018 auction. The pen and notebook he used for his lifelong research were sold for $300,000, about 400 million won, at a 2002 auction. These transactions reflect not just the value of the items themselves, but the historical, cultural, and symbolic value of the name Einstein. Overall valuation. Therefore, it's difficult to assign a single number to the total value of Einstein's name. It generates steady revenue as intellectual property and sets record prices in the historical artifact auction market. If you were to evaluate it as a brand, it's estimated to be well over hundreds of billions of won. His name isn't just that of a scholar. It has become a huge brand that symbolizes genius, wisdom, and human curiosity.
I guess, and this is just my theory, that a Jewish network created Einstein as a star to generate economic value. The Jewish network is all about helping each other out. Because he's a genius with so many moral flaws, I no longer want to have my kids read his biography. But all this constant media marketing made it a routine for me to think that an Einstein biography was one that children should read. This can also be seen as an example of root-normalism.